on your taxes, it automatically puts you down a notch for getting audited, folks. So definitely do what you got to do. Pull your paperwork together. Call Lepper Accounting, 810-355-1552.
Get the money back you deserve, too.
Get the money back from the government, because otherwise they're just going to spend it on things to take away your rights.
Yeah, the little bit that they give you, but they spend a lot on social platforms that never work.
Yeah, so I kind of forgot where we were going with when we jumped off the...
Well, we were talking about the Whitmore Lake thing.
All right, the shootings. All right, so school shootings. And we can do whatever we need to do with that. But you know what, folks? Just talk to your kids before this upcoming Wednesday, because there's going to be another round of these school thuggery, whatever they're
indoctrination
event.
Well, this time somebody said something, and this time somebody did something. So there is that. So one of the kids that knew this kid ratted him out to the authorities, and the authorities took action, which is a whole lot different than what happened in Parkland.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing what happens. So they want you to see something, say something, but it doesn't work, right? San Bernardino, it didn't work. You didn't get it with this Cruz kid. You didn't get it with the Air Force guy that shot up the church, right? Because, failing law enforcement, and FBI knew about, the guy from the Pulse nightclub. They knew about all these situations, and they got to do their job, but they're so busy trying to clean up the 7th floor, they don't have time to, focus on
and part of that comes back to political correctness,
Trump, right?
Yeah, none of the police want to talk to somebody who, he may be Arabic, and so we don't want to profile him, or he may be Hispanic, or he could be a white guy, whatever. PC out the window, folks. When it comes to protecting our children, throw the PC out the window. I'd rather have somebody be detained and maybe be embarrassed than have some kids die, right?
The whole PC thing. I remember back in the day when I was a young lad, dinosaurs ruled the earth, and political...
That's because dinosaurs ruled the earth.
PC, politically correct speech was laughed at as a Soviet-style attempt to silence people and to get them to toe the party line. So it was a restraint on your rights. And in this country, we used to mock the concept of PC, politically correct. Like I said, is this communist totalitarian effort. Now it's almost accepted. We control ourselves by what we say. Because it's what? PC. We got to watch what we say in the workplace. We got to watch what we say on the air. We got to watch what we say in the newspaper.
If you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything. And that's exactly what they want you to do, because this is the dumbing down. This is Karl Marx all the way. They dumb you down, and you don't even know. You can't say Merry Christmas anymore. You can't say, you know what? Nope, not me.
I can't now. Trump lets me.
Yep. You know what? I let me, because I'm a free person. I was born free by the grace of God, and I'll say what I please. And if you don't like it, close your ears. Turn away. Don't listen. Walk.
I was pretty animated at the restaurant this morning, and a few of the people around me kind of looked and gave me the old eye when I was left. I was like, "Hope you're educated. You're welcome to the free education. Pay me money."
Yeah, Bernie wants to pay for college, but we can't even get K through 12 right.
Yeah. All right, well, let's shift gears. I want to talk about the loss in Pennsylvania, because the Democrats, the Never-Trumpers, are all saying, see what Trump's doing? He can't even get this Saccone guy.
Has it been called yet?
It's fake news.
I think it's been called.
I don't think it's been called yet.
Gary, it's fake news. It's fake news all the way, and I'll tell you why. The seat's going to disappear in November.
Yes, it's 1
they
year
dumped
and
a lot of money into this guy's campaign. He ran as a Republican, so it's all fake news. This was all set up to try to get their blue wave, because they couldn't get it in Texas. It was a ripple, and it was sad, right?
Yeah.
So this is what their plan is. They're trying to build momentum going into the 2018 election cycle, and it's not going to work. It's just fake news all the way around.
Yeah, and the only thing I would say, number one, the Democrat, you had a pretty lousy Republican candidate to begin with. The Democratic candidate was pro-life, said he's pro-life. Is he really? We don't know. He's saying he's pro-life. He's a Marine, ex-Marine, right? He's
former Marine. We're never ex-Marines.
Weigh in on that, Ash.
Former Marine. We're never ex-Marines.
Yeah. Non-active Marine.
He's a Democrat, though. I wondered about that. Is he drafted?
And it makes you wonder. So the Democrats. Well, this is the only way the Democratic Party is ever going to survive, frankly, is to get back to center. Become the Kennedy Democrat again.
He ran away from Pelosi.
Well, wouldn't you?
She's talking. At least he says he is.
Pelosi's busy talking. We have an immigration problem in this country with people crossing a border illegally, and her response is mow the lawn. Yeah, exactly.
Lawn.
I mean, you can't really get behind that. Yeah. And those crumbs that Trump gave us. Well, I'll tell you what, those crumbs help people like me. So,
but once again, he did run away from Pelosi. Whether he would vote for her later, you know what I mean, if she comes up for Speaker, the fact is that he said he was not supportive of her. So he sounds, why is he a Democrat? That's what I want to know. Because he couldn't get in the Republican primary?
Maybe. That happens. I ran as a Democrat in the past.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you got.
You didn't know that?
No, I knew that.
I ran as a Democrat in the past. We called ourselves Reagan Democrats, right? But I'm not worried. I don't take it as a sign.
I think Rick ran as a Democrat once too. Rick Dietering.
We all get smart eventually.
Yeah.
Well, they say that if you're not a liberal at 25, you have no heart, and if you're not a conservative by the age of 35, you have no brain. So,
yep.
And once you begin paying a lot of taxes, you eventually become a Republican, right? That's the way I look at it. But when it comes to the 2018 election, I am not worried that the Saccone loss means anything. Period. I'm not seeing it. And let me make my plug this show because we haven't been doing it in the last month or two. Folks, the Michigan Senate race this year needs to have a different outcome. For the love of God, please do not allow Debbie Stabenow to become our U.S. Senator for another 6 years.
Retire Debbie.
Retire Debbie, because she
Let her go back to her job as Ronald McDonald in the ads,
It's just cruel.
We actually have a couple of good candidates.
She looks like
this
it.
year.
Well, we're supposed to have John James on eventually. He's telling us
the 24th is the last I heard from his campaign
so we're hoping to get John
Yes.
James on here. He's an ex-military guy, common sense guy. He's got a decent shot at it. Well, I don't know much about him because I haven't heard anything from him. Right? Sandy Pensler making the effort. He's got deep pockets, so maybe he can do something. Bob Carr is working his tail off out here. You got to love Bob Carr. He is just working it. And if all Republican candidates would do that, you'd have a lot more Republicans in office, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he works at it hard from the grassroots level. So make sure that you're talking about getting rid of Debbie Stabenow. Actively campaign against her this year and make sure we get something different. Otherwise, you're getting the same old Obama-loving, Hillary-loving work that we get from Debbie Stabenow every year. So let's
do the same thing over and over, get the same results is insanity.
It's insanity.
Why do we still talk about Hillary? Oh, that's right, because she's over in India.
Talking about us.
Talking about us.
Yeah.
And white women aren't smart enough to make their own mind up, right? It's their husbands and their sons and their bosses that make their political decisions.
Boy, my
for
wife was laughing at that.
She had another incident like she did at the September 11th memorial thing. Yeah, so she fell in the tub and broke her wrist. And
She fell down since then. Since the steps. She fell just like yesterday or the day before.
Broke her wrist.
So something's going on with old Hillary.
I wish she'd break her tongue so she could quit talking.
I love her talking because you know what? The more she opens her mouth, the better chances we have of a Republican wave in 2018.
Like her and Nancy.
I think we're going to have a Republican. Listen, you look at Southeast Michigan and you look at the map and you look at the steel industry and what just happened with the tariffs. How are they going to regain Michigan? I don't see it. And you look at the people that are making more money in their pockets. You're not going to get them to go back to the other side. The other side is not trying to come to the center. They are going further and further left every chance they get, and it's not going to work.
All right, let's take a call from Joe in Wyandotte.
I knew he was going to call. That's why I made that face. Where's Joe? We talked Bob Carr. Joe's got to call in.
Hey, Joe, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. How you doing? I know how
Joe.
you're doing. Very somber. So sad about Linda.
Yeah.
We have two issues or conflicting problems in Michigan. The usual midterm issue of a sitting president losing seats, potential blue wave. There are some internal polls that are showing some party MIGOP polls showing some of the state races or congressional districts in Michigan are a lot tighter and at risk versus the fact that Trump took Michigan for the first time for president since '88. So we've got conflicting usual trends to deal with here, but it is not looking great. We have to work really hard, to make it happen because unfortunately, there were a lot of Trump Democrats. They're going back to voting Democrat. they can't see an inch beyond their nose to understand that if you want a Trump agenda, you have to have more Republicans to help have a Trump agenda.
Joe, do you think that that's actually going to be the case when people are seeing more money in their pockets, when they have more opportunities for better paying jobs, that they're going to actually go back and revert to the Democratic way? What we need to do is get them to stand behind the idea of what America is. We need to get them ignited about America instead of these singular little issues that they generally use and the Democrats use to, pull at your heartstrings when you go into the
it's
voting
for the
booth.
Children.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, Joe. I hope you're wrong, because I'm really hoping that Michiganders will be smart enough this time around to say, I like what Trump's doing. I like the steel tariffs. I like the aluminum tariffs. I like the thought of bringing jobs back to Michigan and rebuilding our industry and turning the Rust Belt back into the Steel Belt the way it belongs. I'm hoping our union guys out there will do that instead of voting again for people like Debbie Stabenow or Gretchen Whitmore or whatever else. You know what I mean?
Dingle.
It's up to us. It's up to us, actually, our neighbors who are not politically active, who are not listening to Fox News, they're not listening to us on this show. So where do they get their information? CNN, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to, as individuals, for fear of even alienating them. I know a lot of people don't want to witness their faith, and they have an even harder time witnessing their
Why are they watching the
conservatism,
Collusion News
Network?
That's it. Collusion. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Collusion News Network. That's exactly what they are.
But we have got to get out there and educate our neighbors.
I'm working really hard to make myself be wrong. We got to make sure people aren't complacent. They need to work. We need to get out and do the door knocking and the telephone call making and talking to our friends and neighbors. And you mentioned Bob Carr. I really am supportive, because there's like 10% of the rural Republican vote that crosses over to Debbie, and Bob Carr takes away that agricultural benefit that she has with his agricultural background.
Yeah. All right. Well, great call, Joe. I appreciate it, man. Calling again.
All right. Take care, my friends. Love you.
All right.
See
love
you, Joe.
Take care. Bye. Okay.
Excuse me. Do you know Joe outside of here?
I've met him a time or two. So
I would think so.
Yeah, he's a pretty nice guy, and he definitely knows what he's talking about.
I'm talking about Joe who just called.
Yeah.
in.
Yep. Oh, you're
It's cool, man.
I'm sorry.
sorry, Joe.
Okay. So I wanted to shift gears. Let's keep moving here, because changes in the Trump cabinet this week. Tillerson out. Right.
Good.
Gary Cohn out the week before, and somebody at the bar today mentioned to me, they're like, tell me about the chaos in the Trump campaign. I'm like, what chaos are you talking about?
Look, people that are bad at their jobs get fired, and he's a good boss. He's hired tens of thousands of people over his career, and he knows when you have it or when you don't. Yeah. And Rex Tillerson, let's be honest, that guy and him did not meet up. They didn't match up politically, so it doesn't make sense to have him being your mouthpiece across the globe.
I feel bad because I know his chief speechwriter, Tillerson's, and now he's out of a job.
Well,
I feel bad about that.
Rex Tillerson will never be out of a job.
No, not Rex, his speechwriter.
Rex is just fine.
Him, sir, he's going to be fine,
he's
too.
on his feet.
But, I think Tillerson brought some respectability and some credibility at the time, but was he the right guy for the job? I don't think so. He supported the Iran deal, for crying out loud, and that's what literally drove him out of the position.
It's history repeating itself, because this is exactly how North Korea ended up getting a nuclear weapon in the first place, because of deals like the Iran deal. Yeah,
let's squeeze in a quick call from Mike in Livonia, who wants to talk about Democrats and unions. Mike, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Republicans have a lot of work to do to try to convince Reagan Democrats that they really are working in the best interest of the private, and I want to differentiate between private sector union members and public sector, because there's a huge divide there.
Mike,
Republicans. What, did you want to make a comment on that?
Well, if you're speaking into a speakerphone, please get closer to it. I'm finding it hard to hear you.
Okay, I just cranked. I'm on my car. I just
gotcha.
My volume. Gotcha. Yeah, but I think that there's an opportunity for Republicans to peel off the union members, because a lot of union members that make over $50,000 a year, they've been voting Republican all along because they've been voting their pocketbook. But the big difference that I see is that our politicians, our Republicans, need to go to private sector union members, private sector, and say, look, you're not being served well by your public sector union brothers and sisters who are retiring at 50, having lifetime medical.
Yeah.
And you're paying for all of that. Your members are being asked to work to 66 and a half and maybe 70.
Yep.
So you need to splinter the